Okay, so order and chaos. If I were to say what the motive of focusing on this idea is partially because I have for a long time felt like two distinct human beings living in one skull. And these two human beings or factions are often at war. Usually what it seems to come down to is my rational thinking, observing, editing, judging mind just is mutilating and shooting down and destroying and freezing any impulse, desire, attempt on the part of my intuitive side to just kind of follow sensations and feel into things and not know. So I think herein lies my reason, my entire reason for pursuing art and specifically painting, because painting, you do it and you have this result sitting straight in front of you looking back at you that you then have to resist judging and dismissing and all of the things that I just said. So I am reading Ian McGilchrist's book, The Master and His Emissary, The Divided Brain and the Making of the Western World. And it is fascinating because, I mean, this is not a new idea in general, but this guy, I don't know if he's a neuroscientist or what, but he's actually also quite a good writer. And so he's talking from a scientific perspective, a deeply researched perspective on the fact that we have two hemispheres in the brain and they are not easily categorized. You can't just kind of put everything, as has been done in the past, just put everything attributed to the left brain in one side and container, and everything in the right side of the brain, the right hemisphere, in another container. It's not that neat. There is obviously the corpus callosum that is a bridge between the two, and there's always a spectrum, you know, everything in reality. So I'm going to try to bounce around less. I'm realizing that there's a reason for a tripod with these videos. Reality is non-binary, as it were. So I'm interested in this, and it's obviously a huge realm of exploration of perception and everything else. But for my purposes, I've challenged myself in my painting practice to allow myself to go into time periods where I'm completely working intuitively, and I prepare some pigment beforehand and I just kind of splash it on and rub it around. And then working specifically with line work and a contemplative mindset, which is still, I think the simple way of saying it is it's embodied. So the contemplative mindset has discernment in it, as does intuition, but it's still not the judging mind. So I guess I'm seeing that as the order part, where I'm actually using lines to break off sections of these fields of color in abstract paintings. There's a couple of things that have come out. So I definitely have a love of categorizing things, putting things in categories, a compulsion to do that. And so that symbolizes itself in this idea of small boxes. I just like small boxes. I like small boxes with words in them. I have a million index cards. I put words on them. I put my ideas up. It makes me feel like there's space around my ideas and my ideas are organized. Of course, then I torture myself trying to figure out what categories those little boxes go in. And that's when it's time for chaos. So chaos, as I'm defining it here, it's just chaos maybe from the point of the organized brain, is when I follow intuitive impulses. So I guess the scariest iteration of that is the compulsion I have periodically to destroy. This manifests itself in like taking one color and just squashing, splashing, spraying paint all over everything I've done and basically really destroying it, covering everything up. This non-discerning, just obliterate everything. And I also do that in my life. I've done it in my life, especially when I was younger, effectively try to erase, get away from this small, claustrophobic, boxed in identity. Maybe I'll talk about that another time. So yeah, just to conclude, I think painting, the practice of painting really lends itself to this. It has a lot to do with being present, feeling your physical body and responding to what you've done on your substrate. It can be like a structured improvisation where there's a little bit of a like order and chaos, having an idea. I'm only going to do it for 20 minutes, or I'm only going to work with these colors for 20 minutes, or I'm only going to work with intuitively, with these colors for 20 minutes. And then in the next 20 minutes, I'll only work with line, and it will be about feeling what it feels like to execute that. And if it's really unpleasant, it's only 20 minutes. And at the end of that 20 minutes, I'll maybe examine a little bit more deeply through a journal or something why I'm hating all over myself. So, yeah, that's it for now.